fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford fired back at Floyd Mayweather after footage from their sparring session was leaked, saying he's disappointed and upset with how things were handled. Crawford explained that he expected more respect from someone who calls himself a friend, and he's frustrated that something meant to stay private ended up in public. He made it clear that sharing moments from behind closed doors, especially between two champions, is something that should never happen.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time, and, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's suggestion that Terence Crawford should retire shows how divided the boxing world is about his future. On one side, Hearn praises Crawford for already achieving everything there is to accomplish. He's conquered multiple weight classes, defeated top-level opponents, and firmly secured his place among boxing's all-time greats. Walking away now would protect that legacy forever, just like many legendary fighters have done before. But Hearn also knows the other side of the argument: money. With the sport now fueled by massive Saudi investments and blockbuster crossover events, Crawford could earn record-breaking paydays even in fights that don't add much to his legacy. The lure of those multi-million-dollar opportunities is hard to ignore. And as one of boxing's top promoters, Hearn understands this delicate balance between preserving greatness and chasing financial rewards better than most.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, who was obviously very close to him, seemed to say so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Terence Crawford should consider stepping away from the ring while he's still on top. In his eyes, Crawford has already done everything a fighter needs to achieve greatness, from becoming the pound-for-pound king to winning titles in multiple weight classes and proving himself against the best of his era. Schofield isn't questioning Crawford's talent or legacy. Instead, he's warning that continuing to fight could bring unnecessary risk. If Crawford does decide to return, Schofield thinks it should only be against young, hungry contenders like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin, a true test of whether he can still handle the new generation's intensity. His message is ultimately one of respect. Crawford has nothing left to prove, and his legacy is already secure. Walking away now, Schofield says, would protect that perfect record and ensure he's remembered at his absolute peak.
So, I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Gerard. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo.
I feel like it wasn't close enough. If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
This topic continues to fuel passionate debates among boxing fans. The idea of a prime Floyd Mayweather facing a prime Terence Crawford has become a dream matchup that dominates conversations online. Both men are seen as masters of their craft, Mayweather for his flawless defense and unmatched ring IQ, and Crawford for his adaptability and ruthless finishing ability. But the truth is, that fight will likely never happen the way fans imagine. Mayweather is long past his peak, and he no longer has the same speed, reflexes, or endurance that once made him untouchable. A fight today would be more about entertainment than a real test of greatness. That's why so many people frame it as a what-if scenario, a dream clash between two legends that will probably stay just that, a fantasy.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that The Ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.